And your person that left you, you're going to be that Phantom X. You're going to be the person that they'll come back to wishing that they took you more serious. Remember how they tried to make you feel as if you were super irritated at the end of that relationship when they broke up with you and they were trying to get away from you? And it almost seems like they felt a bit of relief to not be in a relationship with you anymore. In today's video, we're going to talk about the karma that comes back around when they felt that they were over you. Hey, what's going on, my beautiful people? Welcome back to the Rebound Journal. Welcome back to another video. I'm sure you remember the breakup pretty vividly. I'm sure you remember the conversation that you had with this person, the last kiss that you had, the last time that you were intimate with this person. And I can bet you that you weren't in the same state that they were in. They had gotten to the point mentally, emotionally, and physically where they were just done with all of this. And you, being the person who just now heard about them not being happy, who just now heard about them wanting to move on, you were blindsided. And your emotions were probably all over the place. For them, it looked more like they were actually relieved to tell you the things that they wanted to tell you and to break this thing off. Push the blame off, because I know all the time this happens where they're pushing everything that happened wrong in that relationship on you, and they're not really taking a whole lot of accountability of the things that they did wrong in that relationship. So at the end, you're feeling as if maybe we can fight for this. All the reasons that she's coming up with or he's coming up with makes me think that this is something that can be fixed. It can be salvageable. But for them, they're thinking in their mind, this is irredeemable. This is something that will never be able to be salvaged again. But being someone who's been doing this work for a really long time, that relief stage, it always passes. And the next stage that comes after that is the reminiscing stage, the re-idolization of you, of the relationship, of what they had. Once that familiarity is no longer something that's accessible to them, when they have to learn a whole new person, when they have to learn how to show up in a relationship again, this is when things start to become a little bit more uncomfortable for them. And that's when you'll start to see them wanting to either have another conversation, want to check in on you, see how you're doing. I just had a lady that I've been coaching for years. This is exactly what happened to her. She reached out to me and she said, "Coach, you won't believe what happened and who reached out to me." And I say, "Why don't you try me? I'm pretty sure I know who reached out to you." After 9 months of no contact, 9 months of her healing, her putting herself through courses, her doing things to heal her attachment style, and this guy reaches back out. And I'm like, surprise, surprise. They get the opportunity to go out and explore, other options, other people. And at the same time, they're not really thinking about the tornado that they're causing in your life until you make them realize what that tornado feels like. Until things starts getting thrown away and thrown out of their lives, they're just going to think that they can do exactly what they want to do. And we can't make that bed so comfortable for them to come back to. It's almost like a cat that you leave the door open and they go scurry out into the alley. You can't make it comfortable for them to come back into your life. And they don't have that access anymore. That door needs to be locked. That food that you left out for them needs to be stored and put away with the dry food. The reassurance that you gave them at the end of the relationship, because this happens all the time, when you're bargaining and when you're trying to fight for this person, you're like, "I'll always be here. I'm the person that, you always wanted," right? Like when we first met me and we first started to date, we started to court each other, you were telling me I was the best thing you've ever had in your life. I was the person you've always been looking for. But then in the end, when you find someone else that is a little bit more of a shinier object than what we have, all of a sudden I'm annoying. And the things that I've done in this relationship made you feel belittled or made you feel disrespected or made you feel as if you were losing your freedom, when it's the exact opposite than what you told me in the beginning of this relationship. I can tell you that there are people, men in particularly, like I'm going to talk to the women here, especially if you're someone that's going through a breakup right now. Men become devastated after they throw away someone that really aligned with them simply because they were struggling mentally and they just didn't know how to handle the stress or the strain of the relationship. I promise you, they are usually tormented. There are a ton of guys out here that are dedicating whole YouTube channels to recovering after breakups. You know, they got a certain term for it, but I'm not even going to go there. They are really struggling. And I personally think that the way that you can predict what's going to happen in the future is by properly vetting the person that you're in a relationship with before you make that commitment. Before you say, you know what, this is the person for me, there has to be some things aligned with you that you're okay with tolerating moving forward. Meaning, if someone tells you that they've never had a healthy relationship, or that they've never had a real relationship, or let's just say they had a chaotic childhood and they're not doing anything to undo or to uproot those things that they've gotten planted, those unhealthy things into their lives, then proceeding after that is walking into the storm, knowing it's a storm, and not wearing any type of protection. You know, don't be surprised if you end up with frostbite. But let's get back to how they're going to be feeling when they finally realize that you're gone. And they finally realize that this person isn't coming back. I may have used all of my freebies, all of my mulligans in this relationship, because many times after they get past that relief, they start to think of that, oh, we actually had a pretty good connection. But because they're the one that left you, they feel that they have more power. They feel that at any moment, they can relieve all of your pain by simply sending a text message or saying, hey, I want to get this another try. You know, I've been that person before, honestly. You know, when I was going through a bunch of difficult times in my life, I didn't appreciate the people that were in my life. I'm not going to lie to you. And I felt like at any moment, when I got done dating people, I could go back to certain people. And I was actually, I had a lot of respect for the people who weren't tolerating it, right? Now, I've been living for 43 years, right? I've been through enough relationships to know when I'm wrong and to know when I actually showed up healthy. This whole relationship coaching venture that I went on for over almost a decade now has been because I knew that I knew how to show up in relationships. And it just felt so easy and effortless for me to have healthy conversations, to be more intentional about being with someone, and to just know when I'm in the wrong, to be able to take accountability for some of the things that I do wrong in the relationship, and to be able to self-regulate, course correct. And also, you know, my wife I'm married to now, it was a pretty easy vetting experience for me with her because I knew exactly what I was looking for. I knew the type of person that I was, what I would align with. I knew the type of person who comes from a background that values healthy communication, that values the sanctity of marriage, not just saying, oh, we need to throw in the towel because, you know, X, Y, Z. We just can't see eye to eye, irreconcilable differences. I knew exactly what I was looking for. And your person that left you, you're going to be that Phantom X. You're going to be the person that they'll come back to wishing that they took you more serious. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by the Rebound Journal. If you like this content, please feel free to subscribe, share, and I will see you in the next video.